hot political fireworks right here at home. Controversy over the refusal to allow a gay group to participate made marching in the parade a tricky situation for those running in an election year. Jada Dapper has the story.
Amidst the sea of Israeli flags and politicians in search of Jewish votes, there were not supposed to be any openly gay or lesbian marchers in the Salute to Israel parade today. But one young man walked anyway, despite the opposition of others around him.
Can't always be popular, you know.
Organizers of this parade, marking the 45th birthday of Israel, had first decided to allow a gay and lesbian synagogue to march, but on Thursday told the synagogue's rabbi her group would be banned because, they say, she broke a no publicity agreement by giving an interview to the New York Times.
I think, unfortunately, the organizers were under enormous pressure from the elements in the Orthodox community that threatened a total boycott of the parade. And they felt that that boycott, that threat, was something they could not withstand.
So today, politicians like mayoral hopeful Andrew Stein and Mayor David Dinkins were forced to explain how they could refuse to march in the St. Patrick's Day parade because gays were banned, but agree to be in this No Gays Allowed parade today.
I was for them, gays and lesbians marching in the parade. I'm a strong supporter of lesbian and gay civil rights, but when it comes down to it, I had to march for Israel.
Those who feel that gays and lesbians should have been permitted to march in the parade nonetheless recognize that today what is important is we not let anybody divide us on the question of security in Israel and support for the state of Israel.
Perhaps it is difficult for the politicians to distinguish between this parade and the St. Patrick's Day parade because fully 1/3 of all Democratic voters in this city are Jewish. And this is, after all, an election year. On the Upper East Side, Jada Dapper, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
And in other news tonight, a shocking crime in Merrick, Long Island. A mother arrested for nearly strangling her own child. Police say that 38-year-old Barbara Van Floric Testa walked into a police station early this morning saying, quote, "I just killed my daughter." Police raced to her Cedar Street home and found the 6-year-old daughter unconscious on the floor. Tonight, the child is reported to be in critical condition. The mother is charged with attempted murder. And tonight, a 22-year-old Brooklyn man is charged with 3 counts of murder. Police say that he killed a mother and her 2 small children during a bloody rampage at the Queensbridge houses yesterday. A family friend was also critically wounded in this attack. The suspect, Ronald Woodson, reportedly knew the victims. He's in the hospital tonight. Injured police say when he jumped from a roof trying to flee the crime scene. Sarah?
Harry, some rap artists tonight are sounding off after getting what they feel is a bad rap. At his Harlem church today, Reverend Calvin Butts charged that rap music glorifies violence and abuse against women. For example, rapper Ice-T caused a controversy with his Cop Killer release. Other rap artists, though, defended themselves by protesting outside the church where Reverend Butts held his service.
I am not defending the lyrics. I am not defending lyrics at all. I'm defending the right for black men and women to express themselves. That's the bottom line.
Some rappers who don't use profanity in their lyrics claim they can't get record contracts because they're not controversial enough. Harry?
There's a lot of noise tonight on Staten Island over base closings as hearings begin tomorrow in defense of Homeport. A small crowd gathered today to protest the closing of the Homeport Naval Station. The base gives a major boost to Staten Island's economy. And today, members of the Defense Base Closure Committee toured the stations slated for shutdown.
It's only by going to the facilities, looking at what's there and talking to people and seeing kind of grassroots Americana like we see here that we can get a better perspective to frame all the numbers and facts and figures and arguments that we have.
Tomorrow, Governor Cuomo and Congresswoman Susan Molinari are expected to testify in defense of Homeport. The Independent Commission has until June the 30th to accept or modify the recommended closings.
And now to Mother's Day, time we spend in tribute to the woman we call Mom. There were lots of ways to celebrate, from buying a card or gift for Mom, even if this was a last-minute stop to the store. And, of course, getting flowers. And this sure wasn't the most conventional way to celebrate Mother's Day, but a Pee-wee race was held along with a Mother's Day run at Central Park. The kids showed what they're best at, keeping Mom on the run. And in Washington, the Clintons went to a Mother's Day sermon where they heard how God could be viewed as a woman. Then First Lady Hillary Rodham Clinton got a special Mother's Day treat. She and the president privately toured the National Gallery of Art.
Well, mothers who have kids at the University of Connecticut are no doubt a little bit worried tonight. Officials are dealing with a meningitis outbreak, and we'll have the story coming up next.
Plus, we take you undercover to a world filled with hexes and curses. This is no movie. It's happening right in your backyard. A special report coming up.
A meningitis scare at the University of Connecticut is forcing the inoculation of thousands of students and faculty members. 3 University of Connecticut students at Storrs contracted meningitis last week. Now today, at the rate of hundreds per hour, students were inoculated against the disease. School officials say that they hope to have as many as 20,000 people inoculated by Tuesday. Well, you know, when most people in our society want to cure what ails them, they go to a doctor. But many people choose to put their faith in a different kind of belief where spirits are all powerful.
Harry, that's right. And it's a world that often fears and fascinates, an often underground world of witchcraft and magic, which we've discovered is doing a booming business in the most unlikely of places. Tonight, we go inside the often secret world of hexes, curses, and spells. It is broad daylight in a garbage-strewn abandoned lot in the South Bronx. But to this Babalao, or Dominican witch doctor, it is a symbolic mountain where he is performing a ritual to get rid of a hex, complete with an animal sacrifice. In this world, these rituals are common. Spirit mediums and witch doctors, though, often won't discuss their practices publicly. So we sent in a man, Anthony, along with an undercover camera. Like a typical customer, he said he believed his ex-wife had put a curse on him. In an earlier consultation at his Bronx office, the Babalao told Anthony he must wear his clothes for 2 days and then take them off when they get to the mountain.
Vamos a matarle el pollo, algo así. El pollo. Pues dime, ¿qué yo tiene que traer? ¿Tú vas a traer todo?
Todo yo lo voy a poner.
Ok.
Usted nada más que va a poner su ropa y la otra ropa que va a tener.
Ajá.
Y yo lo pongo todo de ahí.
Ajá.
Yo compro animales, compro todas las telas que hace falta, todas las cosas.
The Babalao was also secretive about the location of the mountain. It turned out to be directly across from this busy Bronx street, St. Anne's Avenue. There was one stop along the way to pick up a chicken and a pigeon. The Babalao telling Anthony that something had to die so he could live.
First, he put out these candles and these ceremony type of cloths. They were color sequenced, and one was to represent the darkness, some was represent the blood, the other was supposed to represent cleanliness.
And finally, Anthony is given the pigeon. If
I release the pigeon and the pigeon hit the floor, then I'm still cast with the curse and the evil spell. If the pigeon flies, which it did, then the spell has been casted away from me and that I'll retain good fortune.
The cost, $275. Anthony also sought help to get rid of his hex at a botanica, where religious items and potions are sold. Anthony was told he needed to buy a cocoa potion and bathe in it to get rid of the hex for $150. Preparation, $15. I'm along in the black wig.
She has something right there, like something.
She has a hex on his neck.
Yeah.
On his neck?
In his head.
In his head, and that's what the problem is.
That's what the problem is.
So would that reverse the hex then?
That will revocate everything to the person who do anything bad to him.
It will send it back?
Yeah.
This Ogun, Caribbean witch doctor, tells Anthony the hex is causing black clots in his body which must be removed. The process will cost hundreds of dollars.
Y ese espíritu malo lo acompañará siempre atrás de esa sangre. Hay que sacársela y limpiarlo.
Then, to begin to break the spell, the witch doctor breaks a glass, chews a piece, and tells Anthony to do the same.
Crunch it up and swallow it.
Dr. George Brandon is a medical anthropologist at City College.
For most of the world, when people have problems, they do not go to an MD because there isn't one.
In many cultures, shamans or witch doctors go back as far as recorded history and are highly respected. How strong is faith, I guess the question is, in making someone better?
Faith is everything, regardless of whether it's simply a biological treatment or whether it's surgery, or whether it's this kind of a situation where you're dealing with these invisible entities. With faith is everything.
But some self-proclaimed witches have trouble with those who charge high fees, saying that's profiteering and that's just as bad as putting a hex on someone. Tomorrow at 11, we'll take you inside a religious witches ceremony in New Jersey. Some of the members may surprise you, and their numbers are growing. Magic in mainstream life. That's tomorrow when we continue our special series, Hexes, Curses, and Spells.
A lot of people are going to be surprised that's going on right here.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, maybe somebody put a hex on the Mets. We're not sure. They're not doing so well. Mark Stevens coming up next for the day's sports action.
But nothing seems to be stopping the New York Knicks. They kick off their second round of playoff action today at the Garden, and Mark has highlights.
And later on, look up in the sky. It's a bird, it's a plane. It's definitely not Superman. But first, let's take a look at the lottery numbers.
Wake up, call 540-WAKE. Get out of bed and get ahead. Use your touch-tone phone. Call 540-WAKE. We're the wake up that works. So why worry? Don't ever be late again. Call 540-WAKE. Do it now. Only $2 per call. Depend on us. Call 540-WAKE and wake up right. Wake up bright. Wake up to us tomorrow. Call 540-WAKE.
Phone. Hello?
It's that package you sent.
That's not me. What? I am shocked and appalled. Let me confer with my staff. Federal Express?
Only Federal Express can confirm delivery in seconds and has a tracking guarantee.
Your people received the package at 9:20 a.m.
I'm terribly sorry.
Say no more. Let's do lunch.
Nobody tracks better than Federal Express.
Have you ever passed a mother and child living in the streets and wished you could do something about it? Well, if you can spare a few hours a month, you can, by joining the 14,000 volunteers of the Partnership for the Homeless. What would you do as a volunteer? Maybe help out in one of their 150 neighborhood shelters, or visit a family they've helped find a new permanent home, or find your own way to help. Living on the streets is no way to live. Call the Partnership and turn someone's life around.
For future generations, our country is leaving behind our knowledge, our technologies, our values, and 190 million tons of garbage every year. Recycling alone just can't do it. Keep America Beautiful is an organization that can do something. We have solutions that have worked in cities and towns across the country. What can you do? More than you think. Call Keep America Beautiful for your free brochure and find out.
Well, the Knicks had the home court advantage. It wasn't pretty, but it got the job done,
Yeah,
right?
Pat Riley's favorite saying is it's all about winning. He doesn't care what it looks like. You know, the Knicks, they pride themselves on being the hardest working team in the NBA. They have to be, because they love to dig themselves into deep holes. They fell behind again against Charlotte today at the Garden, and they come back again to take game one of their best-of-7 series. But early on, the Hornets lost Larry Johnson to an ankle injury. He was taken to Beth Israel Hospital, where the x-rays were negative. But his teammates awesome without him, especially Alonzo Mourning takes it to his Georgetown pal Patrick Ewing for 21 of his 27 in the first half. Charlotte built up a 12-point lead, but by the time John Starks closed the half with back-to-back three-pointers, game was even at 57 at the intermission. Knicks, though, had to come back again in the third. Charles Oakley leading the charge. Oak had a strong game with 17. Ignoring the ankle sprain, LJ did return, looking to inspire the Hornets, a la Willis Reed. But it was the Knicks who played inspirational ball, especially Patrick Ewing. 33 for him in the game, 111-95 final. Tarzan just too much for Alonzo and company in the end.
You know, not only me, but I thought the team as a whole did a better job on him in the second half. You know, when he was trying to drive, people were collapsing on him, you know, forcing me to take a bad shot or fumble the ball.
We have a tendency to get a little lackadaisical at times, and then
and knowing in the back of our mind, hey, we're going to come with it when we have to. So it's not the way you want to play the game, but if we can continue to win, we'll take it.
Yes, they will. Game 2 is Wednesday night in the Garden. Now the Nets, who sure made it interesting, but they just didn't have enough in the end. The Cavs take it the distance. Cleveland moves on. Drazen Petrovic may be moving out. Said after the game he's seriously thinking of playing in Europe next season. Terrell Brandon came off the Cleveland bench and was a thorn in the Nets side. Hit 5 of 6 shots, and the Cavs led it by 9 at the half. The lead got up to 14, but in the fourth, back come the Nets. Mo Cheeks is off. Chris Morris, though, with the follow. Then it's Derek Coleman, who played another huge game. Off of the fake, DC will drain it. He had 33. The Nets were within 4 with 6 minutes to play. But Brad Daugherty wouldn't let him complete the comeback. Daugherty tops the Cavs with 24. They win 99-89. They take the series. The Bulls are next for them. The Nets are done, but they sure didn't go down without a fight.
Say, once we have everybody healthy or whatever, we'll be back. So, I mean, my hat's off to Cleveland. Cleveland's a great ball club. I really enjoyed the series that we had with them. But
what do you think of their chances?
Come next year, I hope we be back in the same position.
With Kenny. Now Game 5 in Phoenix after losing the first 2 there. Suns fans thinking of sweeping the next 3. Well, final seconds of regulation. They're down 2 to the Lakers till Danny Marley hit the big shot. Game tied at 95. Lakers, a final shot here for the win in regulation. Why did they choose a 3-pointer? Byron Scott all iron on to overtime, where rookie Oliver Miller was sensational. 9 of his 17 in OT. Suns survive 112-104. They'll meet the Spurs in the Western semis. On to baseball now, and even the Yankees don't need to worry about the bullpen when they have a 9-run lead. The Bronx Bombers do it up in Detroit 11-2. The big bat, little Spike Owen. He had a pair of hits, and here in the 5th, takes this one deep to right. Tony Phillips, back to the wall. He reaches, won't get it. First Yankee home run for Spike Owen, and it's a 3-run shot that put the Yankees up 3-2. Just wasn't Tony Phillips' day. In the next inning, Pat Kelly lines it to right, and Phillips drops it. 2 more score, made it 7-2. Then in the 7th, it's Don Mattingly. Forget about it. Took him a while to get the first one, but not nearly as long for the second homer of the year. Bob Wickman is now 4-0 on the mound. Yankees top the Tigers 11-2. Well, since it's Mother's Day, and my mother once told me if you have nothing nice to say nothing at all, I should have nothing to say about the Mets play against the Marlins. But why would you bring Mom to Shea if you really loved her? 4th inning, already 3-0 Marlins. Orestes Estrada should have been a routine double play ball. It ain't. Tim Bogart threw it away. Hey, just which team is the expansion team? Mets were down 6-0, did have a rally. 9th inning, Dave Gallagher's second hit of the game, falls in front of Chuck Carr, made it 6-4. Then with the tying runs on, Eddie Murray strikes out to end it. The Mets are still in last place. They are 3 full games back of Florida. Ugh. And in the hockey playoffs, Toronto evens up their series with St. Louis at 2. The same for Vancouver against LA. The Islanders, they'll try and break their tie with the Penguins tomorrow. They'll play Game 5 in Pittsburgh. That'll do it in sports. I'm Mark Stevens. My mom's going to be mad at me.
She's going to be mad at you. And the Mets may not be too happy.
That's right. I wish we could get Mark to say what he really thinks, you know?
Well, would you believe that we flirted with a 90-degree mark? Not that 90-degree mark. The 90-degree mark today. Meteorologist Veronica Johnson coming up next with the AccuWeather forecast.
Certainly not the case in the Plain States in the Southwest. If it wasn't flooding rains that hit them, it was tornadoes. We'll be right back.
Come with me, little girl, on a magic carpet ride. What is this music? What do you mean? There is no other music. This is when we were grooving. Eli's coming, hard your heart, girl. Eli's coming, hard your heart, girl. I'm your vehicle, baby. I'll take you anywhere you want to go. There's a sense of compliments and meaningless nouns. In my midnight confession, baby, shake me any way you want. Now listen while I play my green tambourine. Young girl, get out of
Mystic Music presents Groovin', 40 of your favorite hits by the original artists.
You made me so very happy. Cherish is the word I use to describe. You and I travel to the beat of a different drum. Love is kind of crazy with a so happy together. I can't get next to you. Can't get next to you, baby. Time won't let me. These eyes.
Now that was a great time. How do I get my own copy?
Groovin'. 3 records and 2 cassettes, only $19.95. 2 CDs, only $24.95. Here's how to order.
To order, call toll-free 1-800-635-6400. That's 1-800-635-6400. Or send $19.95 for records or cassettes, $24.95 for compact discs, plus $4 shipping and handling to Groovin', P.O. Box 1111-BC, Monument, Colorado 80132. Or call 1-800-635-6400.
This baby shower is for these gay men who are expecting a baby. The gay and lesbian baby boom on the next Oprah. Monday at 4, right here on Channel 7.
People in Oklahoma are struggling to recover tonight from a series of nasty storms that delivered a beating to the state. Thunderstorms and tornadoes caused havoc in Oklahoma City, submerging entire areas. In Tulsa, roads were washed away by flooding and people had to depend on boats to get around. At least a dozen people were reported injured from the weekend storms. And in Texas, at least 1 person is dead, scores injured after a string of tornadoes near Dallas today. The twisters reduced several communities to splinters, but hit Wiley the hardest. A regional hospital there was forced to shut down after suffering damage. It's estimated that cleanup costs are going to run into the hundreds of millions of dollars.
Well, we have nothing but good news. It was just beautiful this week.
Magnificent day for Mom, and believe you and me, tomorrow's going to be close to that. We'll have a few clouds around, but we came close to the 90-degree mark today. We topped out at 89. Let's take a look at the current conditions. And now we're holding at 76. Still pretty mild. Humidity is down at 43%. Our winds have been out of the southwest for most of the day today, allowing the mercury to rise to 89, record being 94. Nonetheless, we were 19 degrees above normal for this particular day, and as you see, our winds are still fairly light. The scenario across the East Coast, a big ridge of high pressure has provided some of those mostly sunny skies, but to the northeast as we go, there's a backdoor cold front that we have been keeping our eye on. It will approach the area tomorrow. Now, this is the thing. To the north of the front, temperatures have been in the 60s. To the south of the front, in the 70s and 80s. In 1 hour between 4 and 5 p.m. today, the temperature in Portland, Maine dropped 29 degrees. In Portsmouth, New Hampshire, 22 degrees. That is a lot in 1 hour, believe you and me. And across the Central Plains, well, this is where the action has been going on. This particular low pressure center has not moved much over the last 4 days, and we'll see it creep very slowly eastward. By Tuesday, it'll bring some weather for our neck of the woods. Low temperatures this evening, it'll be about like last night. We'll see our midtown temperature down to 60 degrees, but for the most part, the mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow, big time temperature change across the area, 76 degrees for midtown. We'll have a sea breeze, so that'll keep the coastline of Connecticut, southern shore of Long Island, and most areas along the Jersey Shore also in the 60s. Elsewhere west of the city, we'll find our temperatures in the 80s. Here's the frontal system. Notice how close it is to our area. Still 60s to the north of the front, 70s and 80s to the south and west of it, with lots of sunshine. So on the big picture, this is the storm system that we'll see creep very close to the area Wednesday. We could be looking at severe weather for our 7 a.m. forecast, though. AccuWeather, let's take a look at it. We'll see our temperature holding at 63 degrees, more sun than anything else. By tomorrow, yeah, we're going to creep back up to 76 degrees. A few clouds in the offing with that sea breeze. And your exclusive AccuWeather forecast calls for a cool down, certainly by Wednesday, with temperatures in the 60s, below normal there. And yeah, a chance of thunderstorms, severe weather possibly on Tuesday.
Thanks for
easily hitting 80.
Good Mother's Day, though.
Thanks.
That's true.
Finally tonight, for 130 years, she literally stood at the very pinnacle of power in the nation's capital. But tonight, she's been removed from her lofty perch. We're talking about the 7-ton, 19-foot statue known as Armed Freedom. Today, after months of planning and preparation, Armed Freedom was hoisted by helicopter from atop the Capitol dome. Her cleaning and facelift will take 5 months.
Some nights I feel mine will take longer than that.
You don't need one.
And that's the news for now. For Sarah Wallace, Mark Stevens, Veronica Johnson, the entire Eyewitness News team, I'm Harry Martin. Have a good night.
Good night.
The preceding edition